Hey guys, this is Dezi with Outdoor Extreme with OXFiles, where the truth is out in the field. Today what we're going over is air tank regulator maintenance. This can be a little tricky if you're a little unfamiliar with the stuff. However, this video here is meant to put you a little more at ease with the different things that you need to know. First and foremost, we're going to use and start with our standard 3000 rental tank. These are a 48 cubic inch tank, roughly with the regulator set at 3000 psi. So if you've never done this maintenance before, this is going to be something you want to listen into. First step, you want to make sure you have something to degas the air in your tank. This is a standard little ASA off a Tippmann 98 with the leftover airline hose on it. Very simply, don't trust the regulator. Trust by putting one of these on here. And let's find out, does it have any air in it? Nope, completely empty. It's completely compressed. There is no air in this tank. The gauge is reading 0. This is completely 0. Now that the air has been removed, we're going to start off is getting right here to these bonnet screws. If you're playing in a lot of elements that have a lot of moisture, right? Paint, sweat, rain, all of those elements. Sometimes these can get a little rusted, and this is where you need to make sure you're doing your diligence of maintenance on here. You want to make sure that you have the proper Allen key set. Slides in there. There's no wiggle. It's not moving. You know, it's the perfect Allen key set. Whew, dirty. You can definitely tell it's one of our rental tanks. Set these set screws off to the side. Do not lose those. You also notice that there is some of these regulators will have little grooves that have been milled into the side of it. It's going to be perfect for you to get your adjustable wrench to be able to knock this off. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Excellent. As it unscrews, you want to make sure you're paying a lot of attention here. Do not have the cats around you to knock any of these parts and bits loose. Excellent. To give you an idea, when the tank has been put onto your marker, this pin is getting compressed, which is allowing the air then to flow into your system. Pending on how well they take care of their air system, pending how well you keep your fill nipple out of the dirt and out of the grime, is what you're going to find in here. Luckily, we take very good care of our rental fleet because you take care of your rental fleet air tanks, you'll be able to take care of your markers. So this has got a little bit of dirt and dust and stuff that's accumulated on there. Nothing too wild. What we've taken out here now is called your shim stack. These are different washers that have some curve to them, and they're layered in a way to have this properly set at the right pressure that's coming out of the tank. As you can see too, it definitely has got some dirt, grime, and debris that's built up on it. But as we look at the O-rings here closer, it doesn't seem like any of them are tarnished. There's a little yellowing that's happening on this one, but this O-ring in particular does have a little bit of that yellow tinge, just new anyways. Some of the other different ones, like when we get to the Ninja style, will have a different opaque look to it. So for the sake of this, make sure, keep it set to the side. Now sometimes removing that shim stack, the shims, if this O-ring here at the very front has been worn out, this O-ring may cause where the shims are going to want to pop off of this. So keep in mind, when you're removing this, you want to be really taking your time to make sure, in case that O-ring is gone, you don't lose track on how your shim stack is put together. Set that off to the side. Another fancy tool that we always like to keep with us, Q-tips. Get the paper ones, not the plastic ones. Sea turtles, mate. What you're going to do is you're going to wipe this thing down. Obviously here it's got a little bit of dust that's accumulated. We're going to speed this up here. Now that you've cleaned the inside there, perfect. But we still have the top here. This definitely needs to get cleaned out as well because that is, I don't know if you can see that. That has got some nasty sitting inside of there. That is just gross. So, clean her up. Q-tips. And also, too, Q-tips are a good thing to keep in your gear bag in case you happen to take an earful when you ran to go try to blast your buddy, and instead he blasted you. I see this, the dirtiness when I'm servicing other people's regulators and their tanks and stuff. I tend to see a lot of this with paintball. However, with airsoft, I don't see so much filth and grime in it just because they're inherently not playing with any paint, and they're just the way that their systems are being run differently. A lot of them keep them in their backpacks. They're not really direct connected to the markers or the replicas themselves. In paintball, though, these things get gross. So after we give a little quick wipe down, boom, boom. Do not use Dow 33 bolt O-ring grease in this at all. Compound 111 is what is used for these O-rings in here. This is meant to be under an immense amount of pressure. The Dow 33 that you'd use for your O-rings and the bolt of your marker is meant for a completely different pressure. If you were to use that in here, the system is going to fail much sooner because it's going to powderize, cake up everything, and then start blowing off your safety seals on here. Speaking of safety seals, if you have one of your burst discs have ruptured, those of you guys who have had one of your air tanks burst discs go off while you had your equipment in your closet, you definitely had a hard time going back to sleep afterwards. It is a very, very loud noise. It is a complete depressurizing out of how much air you had left in there at 3,000 pounds dumping all in one shot. So if you have your 1.8 burst disc go out, this is said that there is an issue inside of this and your tank needs to be serviced. It doesn't mean, oh, it went and I can just put a new 1.8 burst disc in. You could, but it's a matter of when it's going to fail again because there's an internal issue. This one in particular didn't have that go down. We're just doing this as service end of here. What you do is you take your 111 compound, dab will do you. After you've cleaned your O-rings, a smooth amount on it on here, on the bottom O-ring, and a smooth amount on the top O-ring. Then, take your piston and your shim stack, slide it back into your tank. Take your spring, place it back in there. Assembly almost done. It's important. Make sure you do not cross thread anything on this. If it starts getting tight and you only got 2 in there, hold up, wait a second. Something may not be lined up correctly and you need to get that adjusted. You'll typically cross thread anything in paintball once before you will need to replace it. Take your tools, adjustable wrench, give it a little snug, on there nice and tight. Then set screws right on back in. Easy peasy, squeezy lemons. A little snug, beautiful. Beautiful. Now when you bring this back to the field and you're ready to go and play again, what you want to do is when you have this on, getting this hooked up to your air station, you're going to want to make sure that you explain if you are handing your tank off to one of the service guys at the rental shed or whatever to air it up full for you. Tell them, express to them, you need a slow fill. You've just rebuilt it. Okay? Hopefully that individual will know what they're talking about. If you are filling this at your own self-serve station, that you are going to be very simply hook it on. And when you're engaging the air ever so slightly, crack it to where you hear the air begin to slightly hiss into here. And keep an eye on your gauge. Once your gauge, as you're slow filling, it does take about 1.5 minutes to get it to where you need. Once you get it to about 1.5 on your air gauge, then let it sit. Release, let it sit for about 5 minutes. What you're doing is you're reacclimating the whole system to your rebuild. You don't want to just fully engage and gas it and put, 3,000 wide open into your tank. You don't want to do that. Creep fill, slow it fill on your first fill. That goes whether it's your first fill of the day or if you've just rebuilt it. Take your time. It's a lot of things can go wrong if you overpressurize stuff too fast. Next, we're going to move into another company, one that is one of our referees here. Needs his tank pressure dropped in here, and we needed to find out it was too high of a pressure, because not all of the markers that you use in paintball or in airsoft are going to be running directly 900 or 850 or whatever they come stock out of here. This is something you want to look into your manual, and you are going to look up what is the operating tank pressure optimal for your marker. Now, there are a lot of different markers. There's a lot of different pressures out there, so definitely do your research when you're looking into this. One of the nice parts about the Ninja one is that this is a full serviceable regulator. You can raise or lower the output pressure on here. For your standard ones, pretty much what you're getting out of this regulator is what you're getting out. Very few of them right now, currently, have the ability to be adjusted to lower pressure. Same thing like we did on the 3000 one, except this is a completely different set. Let's see how good I got it. Money. Oh, we forgot. We have to make sure there's no air in the tank. Good catch, Mr. Gator. Empty. Gauge reads 0. This is completely collapsed. Empty. When you're loosening, Allen keys have the L shape to help you break loose your screws. When you're tightening stuff down, use the long way only. You can get a little slight snug on it, but don't get crazy in paintball. Nothing in this needs the full water boy to tighten stuff in here. A lot of the time, finger tight is all you need to go. Set screws out. Now, pending the different models of the Ninja ones, they have the SLPs, they have the super low pressure, they have high pressure, and then they have the ultralights. There's many different models. So again, read your manuals, do your research, look into these. Now, good, this one came off nicely. I didn't have to use the tool. Nice. So, with this one here, very, very similar in the same setting of the way that this works. There's different patents, there's different models, like I said, but they all have pretty much the same concept going on with them. This is the same place where the air is going to be, this is coming down, releasing the air into your bottle. Take your spring, pin out, set it to the side. And then before in the other one, we had a shim stack. In the Ninja one, they are using a spring and piston set. And we were looking before, we saw that the O-rings were a little yellowed on the rental version. However, in this one, you have more white O-rings. These are really brand new ones. If you have a Ninja regulator and you end up, when you take this apart and you go to service it and you see that these are turning yellow, that means it's on its way out. It's just what happens with plastics and rubbers like this. It turns yellow. So it's starting to go. You may want to think about getting it replaced or getting a backup replacement kit before oops. Now inside here, this is where the adjustments come into it. You want to get a little fancy pick tool, Harbor Freight, your local flea market, Renegers down over here off 95. What you want to do is you want to use the pick to pull out this washer. Now this washer here is what's adjusting your pressure. Sometimes, depending on what's available for assembly when they're doing these may have different color shims. Some are red, some are blue, some are silver. And these different thicknesses are what's raising or lowering your pressure from here. Very simply, we wanted to lower output pressure. So he's got a marker called a G6R. It's a Bob Long marker, a little bit of an older model one. They run on the lowest output pressure possible. It's, if I'm not mistaken, the lowest operating pressure marker out there. So we needed to make sure that we got this as low as possible for him. Now, go back in with our trusty Q-tippies. Beautiful. Everything's there. Take your 111 compound, grease her on up, make it slick. Same thing on the upper O-ring. Perfect. Take your spring back in. Back in. Now, pending the last time you did this, this could be as quick as we did it today, where we're just inspecting everything, making sure it's all right and tight. But if this has also been a long time, and you're like, man, all right, it's been a year, 2 years, let me get back out there, and you just took your tank and threw it in your bag after you went and played a 6-day scenario or some other wild event, it may need a servicing before you go and use it. Just things to keep in mind. Secondly, one of the things you want to look at here, anytime you have an air bottle, it's different on the rental tanks or your 3000 ones, but when you get into the carbon fiber style here, you're going to see that there is a couple of numbers, and you really don't know really what's it all mean. This right here for you as the player is what you're looking for. This was made on the 5th month of 2024. All tanks need to be rehydroed, whether they're carbon fiber or they're your 3000 tanks. 5 years. You have 5 years from the born on date that you can use your tank and no problems. However, after the 5 years, you need to bring your tank into a specialist to have them get what's called rehydroing. Basically, they take the regulator off, they put their own other regulator on, but before they fill it up completely with water, they then submerge this and put this tank into the most extreme pressures. I believe they get up to these ones to 7,000 pounds of pressure. And what they're expanding the tank to its maximum ability, holding it there for a set period of time, and then they release the pressure out of it slowly. And what they're measuring is how much did the tank not come back to its original state. So they're measuring how much more of it was left expanded after they did the stress test of it. If the tank falls within their parameters, that it's good to go, it came back to a good size, they put a new sticker on it, smeared the glue on there, and your tank is good to go for another 5 years. You can do that one other time for your 15th year. On your 15th year, your tank has been expired. And so at that time then, you need to invest into a new bottle. You can still have the good reg, just going to need a new bottle. That has been our air tank service. If you guys have any questions, you can always bring your tanks over to any of our Outdoor Extreme locations located in Texas, Pennsylvania, New York, Florida, and Maryland. Bring us your stuff. We'll walk you through it. If you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to help you. This has been Dezi with Outdoor Extreme and the OX Files, where the truth is out in the field.